The following video is presented by Car Gurus. Search over 5 million listings to find the right car for you at cargurus.com. A special Car Gurus link from me, Ryan Holman, is in the description and as the pinned comment for this video.
Throughout the history of NASCAR, there have been road course ringers. These are road racers that mostly, if not exclusively, compete in NASCAR in their road course and or street circuit events. In my opinion, Dan Gurney was the most successful of these drivers. Out of 16 NASCAR Cup Series races he started from 1962 to 1980, Gurney won 5 of them, all of them at the Riverside Road Course. Similar type of driver is somebody who started to compete regularly, maybe even full-time, in NASCAR, with a background in road racing. A pretty good example of this is A.J. Allmendinger, who started to compete in NASCAR in 2006 after winning 5 IndyCar Series races, all of which were on road courses or street circuits. In NASCAR, as of September 2024, he has won 3 Cup Series races, all on road courses, and 17 Sportsman Series races, 12 coming on road courses. A driver similar to Allmendinger was Ambrose. He started to compete in NASCAR in 2006 also, after having initially competed in a Supercars championship in his native country, Australia, from 2001 to 2005. There, Ambrose won 28 races in the championship in 2003 and 2004. In fact, in 2004 he won 11 of the season's 28 races. Ambrose's NASCAR career lasted less than a decade. However, he won 7 National Series races. For 5 years, Ambrose had a winning streak at the historic Watkins Glen road course. This amount of success made him a master of the trick, and those wins will be highlighted. In 2008, Ambrose was in his sophomore Sportsman Series season, which was also his second with JTG Doherty Racing. After having finished 8th in the 2007 championship, Ambrose was still trying to get his first NASCAR win. For the Watkins Glen race, Ambrose qualified in 12th place. On the 3rd lap, Jeff Burton spun directly ahead of Ambrose. By lap 10, Ambrose had gotten into the top 10 and was running 9th. 2 laps later, the race's first caution occurred when Wheeler Boys and Burton crashed. Like most drivers, Ambrose made his first pit stop. Unfortunately, he lost several positions during this time. However, when the race had a caution period for Stan Silva Jr. crashing, Ambrose was now running 9th again. Following the restart, he was running 7th and remained part of the lead pack. On lap 32, Ambrose was significantly ahead of 8th place Carl Edwards. Ambrose's position of being in the lead group, but the furthest back in the draft, allowed him to save more fuel. Ambrose avoided a major issue for himself on lap 41 when he and Sam Hornish Jr. made contact, causing Hornish to spin and then be hit by Antonio Peirce. Ambrose continued with, at worst, minor damage. During the ensuing caution time, Ambrose did not make a pit stop and was now in the 3rd position. Entering the first turn after racing resumed, he quickly got past Ryan Newman for 2nd. Newman remained close to Ambrose. He tried to get past Ambrose entering the main straightaway that same lap, but Ambrose cut him off. Eventually, Ambrose increased his gap on Newman, then got the lead when leader and pole sitter Dario Franchitti pitted. The following lap, Ambrose made a pit stop from the lead. When he was in the pit lane, there was a caution time for debris coming off of Boris Said's car. After the race restarted, 3rd and 4th place Clint Boyer and Edwards collided. Meanwhile, Ambrose moved up to 7th. Then, with 27 laps remaining, he was 4th. 4 laps later, Jimmy Johnson got past Ambrose. Suddenly, leader Burton and 2nd place Kyle Busch made contact and spun, causing a lot of smoke to rise. Ambrose got through the incident and was now 3rd. With 17 laps remaining, Ambrose and Johnson got closer to the top 2, who likely had damaged tires from their spins, but Johnson passed Ambrose. A little bit later, Burton bumped Busch out of the way. Johnson and Ambrose tried to get past Busch, but Busch and Ambrose made contact. Soon afterwards, Ambrose had gone past Busch. It was questionable if Burton and Johnson, the top 2, would have enough fuel to finish the race. Likely being aware of this, Ambrose was not challenging the top 2. Johnson would pit with 5 laps remaining and Burton ran out of fuel the next lap. Ambrose had a significant lead over the rest of the field.
Actually coming to the white flag this lap.
We've got debris on the racetrack laying around, and
that's okay. Marcus Ambrose just took the white flag. The next flag you'll see will be the checker. Will there be no green-white checker here?
Franchitti looking racy, trying to make a move around Harvick. Harvick looks to the inside of Kenseth. Again, that's 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Final lap, JTG Doherty Racing. Tad Geschecter Brad Doherty, the co-owners on the 59 car. How special would this be for Marcus Ambrose? All the way from Tasmania, a little island just below Australia.
Easy now. Boris didn't cutting him any slack at all here.
No love lost. Remember, it was Boris said who said, I will get even. Remember, he was very angry after what happened in Mexico City, and Marcus Ambrose needs to tiptoe here.
I believe I'd just follow him to the checker.
Yeah, there's no reason to pass him. He's got plenty of cushion back there. These guys aren't going to catch him from behind unless Boris just stops.
Kyle Busch trying to reel him in, turn 10.
Caution, that's it.
That's it. Race is over. 59 car, Marcus Ambrose.
How about that? Gary Cogswell celebrates on the pit box.
Marcus, we go, guys.
And Marcus Ambrose goes to victory lane for the first time in his career at Watkins Glen.
Ambrose got his first NASCAR win after leading for just 5 laps, including the final 4. Victory was enough to get Ambrose into 10th in points, which is where he finished the season. For 2009, Ambrose started to compete full-time in a Cup Series for JTG Doherty, but he returned to the Sportsman Series with them for Watkins Glen. For his return race, Ambrose qualified 2nd. At the start, pole sitter Kevin Harvick got ahead of Ambrose, who then got passed by Scott Speed. Towards the end of the first lap, Ambrose attempted to get past Speed, but did not do so, and was briefly passed by Robbie Gordon, who then went high in the first turn, allowing Ambrose to get back the position. Then, Ambrose got close to Speed again. Eventually, Speed was passed by Ambrose. A caution for Brian Vickers crashing allowed Ambrose to close his gap to Harvick. Following the restart, Ambrose challenged Harvick, but then dropped back slightly. That same lap, Ambrose got the lead. On lap 20, Ambrose and Harvick made their first pit stops of the race. Harvick was beat back to the track by Ambrose. On lap 29, Kenny Wallace was passed for 8th position by Ambrose. 5 laps later, Ryan Newman stalled on the track and the field bunched up for the ensuing caution period. When the race restarted on lap 38, Ambrose was in 7th and quickly got up to the next position by passing David Reagan. Close to the end of the lap, Ambrose then moved past Greg Biffle for 5th place. Close ahead of Ambrose, Brad Keselowski and Paul Menard collided, causing Menard to get his car stuck in the gravel in the race to have a caution. Ambrose used this time to make a pit stop with most of the field. He lost a position during the stop cycle. When the race restarted with 35 laps remaining, Ambrose got squeezed between Joe Nemechek and Edwards. In the process, he gained 2 positions. Then, Ambrose got around Brendan Gaughan for 4th place. Quickly, he got into 3rd by passing Stephen Wallace. Soon afterwards, Ambrose was past Reagan for 2nd and was now closely behind leader Busch. Ambrose and Busch's battle was interrupted by Menard spinning and stalling, causing another caution time. With 27 laps to go, Busch got ahead of Ambrose for the restart. The next lap, Busch increased his gap on Ambrose, who was now being challenged by Denny Hamlin. Suddenly, with 18 laps remaining, Ambrose passed Busch. They got into the curbs and grass. Busch went into the runoff area, where he would have to stop to not get an unfair advantage. Ambrose's big lead was eliminated when the race had a caution due to debris coming off of Gordon's car. Following the restart, Ambrose quickly moved ahead of the field and had a significant lead. However, this racing stint was short-lived due to Joey Logano having a major crash after Gordon ran into him, likely in retaliation for earlier contact. Racing resumed with just 6 laps remaining. Ambrose got ahead of Busch and Edwards, who moved into 2nd. Ambrose extended his lead as Edwards and Busch battled for 2nd.
In the last few laps, we've had so much of the attention up front.
White flag.
As we get the white flag, we'll let you know the best.
One more, bud. One more.
The best nationwide only driver, Brad Keselowski, right now in 10th. And it's right now, as we're looking a little bit further back, Kevin Harvick taking a peek. No, he's not going to be able to do anything with the 99 on this corner.
Yeah, talk about a couple other guys that are going to come back from Keselowski back there. Joe Nemechek's had a great day. He's in 11th, and J.R. Fitzpatrick back in 12th. 2 guys really having good runs.
Right now, it's all about Marcus Ambrose, though. It looks like he's going to win here for the 2nd year in a row through the bus stop chicane. Kyle just doesn't have enough for him. It's going to take a mistake by Marcus.
He hasn't made any, so that's hard to believe he's going to make one here in these next couple of turns. just following up with what he did last year and putting himself in a position to win both races this weekend, guys.
Yeah, he's got a great cup car, too.
We got it, boys.
Don't celebrate too soon. You still got 2 corners to go. Oh, Nemechek goes
These
around.
are 2 guys we were talking about having great runs, too.
Coming through turn number 11. The final time for the 2nd year in a row. Kangaroo meet.
You are the man.
Marcus.
You are the man.
Ambrose wins.
Is that it? You sure it's it?
For the 2nd consecutive year, Ambrose won at Watkins Glen. This time he led a race-high 26 laps. JTG Doherty's Sportsman Series program initially started off the season with Michael McDowell as the intended full-time driver. Unfortunately, sponsorship issues after 17 of 35 races caused the team to start parking their entry to collect low-position prize money. Ambrose's appearance in it was an exception to this. He would also finish 2nd at Montreal in the entry. For 2010, Ambrose returned to the Sportsman Series at Watkins Glen. Once again, he was driving for JTG Doherty. Ambrose qualified on the pole position. When the race started, he moved ahead of Logano and Harvick. Later on the first lap, Ambrose and Logano had moved quite ahead of the rest of the field. By lap 3, the top 2 had about a 2nd lead over Edwards in 3rd place. 5 laps later, Ambrose, Logano, and Edwards had great distance between them and 4th place Jacques Villeneuve. By lap 12, Logano had dropped back from Ambrose. 5 laps later, Ambrose led Harvick by about 13 seconds. Logano made his first pit stop by this point. The following lap, entering the main straightaway, Tony Raines and Billy Johnson spun. As Ambrose was in that area, he narrowly avoided them and pulled off the track to make his first pit stop. After returning to the race, Ambrose was 2nd to Logano. On lap 20, the race had its first caution period due to debris. On lap 24, Logano led the field after the restart. Ambrose was briefly passed for 2nd by Busch. The 3 then battled for the lead before there was a major crash further in the field, which caused the race to be stopped. Ambrose and Busch were close together on the lap 27 restart. Busch and Logano then made contact and the top 3 were battling for the lead. As the race transitioned from lap 27 to 28, Ambrose drafted behind Busch and attempted to get back the lead, but failed to do so. As this happened, Logano went high and dropped behind Ambrose and Ron Fellows, who had joined the lead group as a challenger. On lap 31, Ambrose briefly attempted to pass Busch, but moved back behind him. 5 laps later, as they were lapping Brian Keselowski, Ambrose tried yet again to get around Busch. On the 41st lap, Busch was behind Mark Green and Ambrose used this opportunity to return to being the leader. Moments later, Ambrose lapped Eric McClure, but made contact with him in the process. In turn 1 on lap 49, Alex Kennedy spun and raised smoke as a result. Ambrose got past this. On lap 52, Ambrose made a standard pit stop and re-entered the track ahead of Busch, but they were both behind Villeneuve. Before the end of the lap, they caught up to him and passed him. Moments later, there was another caution time due to Justin Allgaier leaking oil. The race restarted with 26 laps remaining. Brad Keselowski and Busch challenged Ambrose for the lead, but he kept it. Within a lap, Ambrose was back to having a significant lead. On lap 64, Menard had framing from his car fall off, which resulted in a caution period. At the lap 65 restart, Logano briefly got ahead of Ambrose, who then got back the lead. Within 4 laps, Logano and the rest of the field was far behind Ambrose.
Okay, Ambrose looking for that white flag.
Watch out, Joey. He's just waiting for you to make a mistake.
Check out, bud. White flag.
Logano really good off of turn 7. That's a big help as you go down to turn 1.
2.45 miles to go for Marcus Ambrose. He has a 3.5-second lead. This is the best battle on the track right now for 2nd. Whoa, and look out, Harvick goes wide.
That's probably all Logano needed right there, just a little gap.
He gathered it up nicely because we were seeing the side of that race car, and that's never good on that head-on shot. Down the backstretch, there goes Marcus. He is cruising. And Joey is breathing a little bit easier. Through the bus stop for the final time. Little lap traffic. Joe Nemechek there in front of him. Don't think it's going to be a major factor, though.
Nothing else been able to slow him down today.
Well, Marcus Ambrose wants to lay claim to Watkins Glen because this is going to be another stellar performance for him here. He's going to join Terry Labonte as the 2nd driver ever to win 3 straight here at Watkins Glen. Terry did it back in 94, 95, and 96, and through the final corner. Here comes Marcus Ambrose, his 3rd Nations Outright Series win.
Great job, so proud of you. Thanks, Frank, you're the legend, mate. Tippy, congratulations, buddy.
Ambrose won his 3rd consecutive Sportsman Series race at Watkins Glen after starting first and leading for 60 of 82 laps. Although Ambrose was the dominant driver in NASCAR's 2nd-tier division at the track, he had not yet won the Cup Series races there, with his best finish being 2nd in 2009. Additionally, his other results were finishing 3rd in 2008 and 2010, while also failing to qualify in 2007, due to rain-canceling qualifying and his Robbie Gordon Motorsports entry not being ranked high enough in the standings to get into the field. For 2011, Ambrose started to drive for Richard Petty Motorsports. While he drove for them full-time in a Cup Series, he did not enter the Watkins Glen Sportsman Series race for the first time since 2006. For the Cup Series race, he started 3rd. At the start, Ambrose drafted behind pole sitter Busch, but was soon challenged for 3rd by Johnson. On the 2nd lap, Ambrose got past Busch in turn 1 and was now 2nd to teammate Allmendinger. On lap 6, Ambrose attempted to repeat his pass against Busch, this time against Allmendinger, but did not succeed. A little bit later, they got behind Kurt Busch. After Allmendinger got past Busch, Ambrose struggled to do that. On the 9th lap, Busch bumped Allmendinger, causing him to go off course and Ambrose to get past him for the lead. By lap 12, leader Ambrose had created a significant gap between him and Kyle Busch in 2nd. 5 laps later, Ambrose pitted for the first time in the race. After this, fog started to get closer to the track itself. Close ahead of Ambrose, Hamlin locked up his brakes and ran into Biffle. Ambrose then passed them and was now 8th. The race had its first caution when Biffle stalled on the track. After drivers ahead of him made their own stops, Ambrose led the field to the restart on lap 32. Juan Pablo Montoya, the defending winner of the race, challenged Ambrose, but dropped back a bit. 6 laps later, Ambrose made his 2nd stop. Then, Kurt Busch crashed on lap 49 and the race had its 2nd caution time. When the race restarted with 38 laps to go, Ambrose was in 14th place. Initially, he was not getting past other drivers. Within 7 laps, Ambrose was in 9th and almost lost control when passing Logano for the next ranking. The next lap, a lot of the drivers ahead of Ambrose pitted. Boyer got the lead, but was passed by Ambrose for it. With 29 laps to go, 2nd place Montoya was not remaining with Ambrose. 2 laps later, Ambrose made his final pit stop of the race. Ambrose beat Montoya back to the track. On lap 66, Hamlin's brakes failed in turn 1. He nearly hit Ambrose and had a massive crash into the wall. Ambrose moved up in the field as various drivers used the resulting caution to pit. The race restarted with 21 laps left and Ambrose being in 6th place. By turn 1, he was in 4th. On lap 72, Ambrose attempted to pass Martin Truex Jr. for 3rd on the outside. He then tried and succeeded in passing Truex on the main straightaway. In turn 1 with 15 laps to go, Ambrose passed Keselowski for 2nd. However, Kyle Busch had a big lead over Ambrose. With 11 laps remaining, Ambrose had reduced Busch's lead. Within 2 laps, it was even smaller. Starting on lap 84, Busch increased his lead. 2 laps later, Menard had a tire failure and crashed, causing the race to have its 4th caution period and to go into overtime, with Ambrose in 2nd place with 2 laps to go.
Green-white checker, the green flag, they race. If they get back around to the white without a caution, the next flag ends the race. Who's it going to be?
Ambrose spun the tire stump. Brad Keselowski going by him.
Kyle Busch lights him up.
He's sideways. Here comes Brad.
Contact. Keselowski is through to the lead.
Wow. Here comes Montoya, but he's not able to hold off Kyle Busch.
Okay, this interlude's going to be exciting up here.
Keselowski's going to have to really guard.
A wiggle, a wobble.
Here comes Ambrose hard in the throttle.
A little bump there, a little nudge.
But you know Kyle Busch is going to be close here too.
Clear.
Tell you what, Ambrose better get down in this corner good or Brad's going to be all over him.
Maybe a little bump right here from Brad. Kyle Busch coming hard.
Oh, he's still sideways.
White flag.
No mistakes, bring it on.
One lap to go. Next flag ends the race. Do they have enough fuel to come back around and finish it? Kyle Busch looking to get back around Keselowski. In turn number 2, David Ruderman.
Still green.
Oh, looks like Tony Stewart out through the grass in the inner loop.
And back through traffic. Caution is out.
Is out. Yellow's out.
Race is over. Marcos Ambrose is your winner. And Tony Stewart is up against the guardrail. Wow. What an...
Congratulations there, Ambrose. You are officially a winner in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Good job.
Somebody might want to give that guy a brand update.
In his 5th season in the Cup Series, Ambrose got his first win and it came at the same track that he had won at the previous 3 years. He led for 21 laps, the second most of any driver after Busch. Getty then entered Ambrose in a Sportsman Series race at Montreal, where he won. For the 2012 Cup Series race at Watkins Glen, Ambrose qualified in 5th place. At the start, Ambrose briefly remained in his starting position but was then passed by Newman for it. On the second lap, Ambrose got back past Newman. 3 laps later, he attempted to pass 4th place Johnson. Eventually, Ambrose got around Johnson. By lap 12, Keselowski was well ahead of Ambrose in 3rd. Around lap 20, Ambrose stopped for the first time. On lap 26, Jamie McMurray crashed and the race had its first caution. During this time, most of the leaders made pit stops. As a result, Ambrose cycled into 2nd. When racing resumed on lap 30, Ambrose briefly got the lead from Keselowski but settled back into 2nd. 2 laps later, Ambrose tried to get around Keselowski but did not. On lap 39, Ambrose passed Keselowski for the lead in turn 1. By lap 43, Ambrose had created a large lead over the field. As he started his 47th lap, Ambrose made his second pit stop. As other drivers were pitting on lap 58, Hamlin blew an engine and the race had its second caution. Ambrose and a lot of the field used this opportunity to make pit stops. Ambrose gained 3 positions from what was likely to be his final stop. The race restarted on lap 62 with Ambrose running in 8th place. He briefly got around Kenseth for 7th, but Kenseth got the position back. However, towards the end of the lap, they exchanged positions again. The next lap, Ambrose got into 6th place by passing Dale Earnhardt Jr. The lap after that, Jason Leffler had a mechanical issue and oil got on the track, causing another caution and the field to bunch up. After the race restarted with 22 laps left, Ambrose got squeezed between Busch and Biffle. Soon afterwards, he got past Biffle and was now 5th. Exiting the main straightaway on the next time by, Ambrose made an impressive pass on Busch and Boyer to move into 3rd. Then, with 20 laps remaining, Ambrose caught up to the top 2 of Keselowski and Tony Stewart. Moments later, Stewart crashed directly ahead of Ambrose. Now, Ambrose was 2nd. With 16 laps left, Busch and Ambrose passed Keselowski before exiting turn 1. Ambrose briefly had the lead but quickly got passed by Keselowski and Busch. 5 laps later, Ambrose got close to Keselowski and made contact with him, but did not get past him. The next lap, they did this 2 more times before Ambrose got past Keselowski and soon moved away from him. Busch still had the lead, though. Suddenly, on the 88th lap, Nemechek slowed in front of the leaders, but did not get in their way. He likely had a mechanical issue and got fluids on the track. The next lap, Keselowski got past Ambrose. Busch then slowed in the area where Nemechek had his issue. Since there was probably debris on the track, this caused Keselowski and Ambrose to get much closer to him.
Coming to the white flag.
I'll tell you, the 2 cars closed that gap.
I don't know if he's bad or if he thinks he might have a flat tire or something like that. He's really moving the car around. It doesn't look very stable right now.
1 lap to go. Kyle Busch, defensive line into turn 1.
There's something wrong with the 18.
Now Ambrose trying to get second from Keselowski while he tries to get the lead from Kyle. Contact in the S's.
It's right. Got it.
Dangerous spot on the track for Kyle to be sideways. Looks like he gets off to the guardrail. No caution yet. Here's the race for the lead.
Keselowski's got damage on the left front.
Is the tire going to make it all the way around? And will the 9 help him? Everybody's in the grass.
No, you're clear. Dig.
That might have been the race right there. We'll see. No, Keselowski's slower. Keselowski's got a problem. Trying to stay with Ambrose. 2 final corners. Do they use the bumpers? A nudge, a push. Can Ambrose save it? To the checkered flag. Who gets here first?
Clear.
Ambrose 9, Keselowski 2. Final corner. Marcus Ambrose is going to win at Watkins Glen in a remarkable last lap turn of events.
In one of the most exciting racing finishes I saw live and one of the best in the history of NASCAR, Ambrose got his 2nd consecutive Cup Series win at Watkins Glen, and he won a National Series race there for the 5th consecutive year. Ambrose led 8 of the race's 90 laps. Unfortunately, Ambrose did not continue his winning streak to 6 years. At the Cup Series race in 2013, he qualified on the pole position and led for 51 of 90 laps, but crashed on lap 84 and finished 31st. The following year, he did win the Watkins Glen Sportsman Series race, despite spinning on lap 7. That year, Ambrose started 4th and led for 48 of 82 laps. The following day, he finished 2nd in the Cup Series race after leading for 20 laps. 2014 was Ambrose's final year in NASCAR.